Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going deep on learning and development.
L&D.
L&D, you got it.
Yeah.
We got this really interesting report on the top L&D trends for 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Based on a global survey of nearly 4,000 L&D professionals.
Wow. That's a lot of L&D pros.
It is. Gives us a real sense of where the industry's at and where it's going.
Absolutely. It's a great snapshot of the state of L&D.
Yeah. And you know what? Some of the findings really surprised me.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not just about those typical training courses anymore, is it?
No, not at all. This report really shows how organizations are adapting to this world that's constantly changing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things are moving so fast.
Yeah. AI, remote work, the whole thing.
The whole 9 yards.
So let's dive into these three main areas that the report highlights.
Okay.
Digital transformation, reskilling, and leadership development.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh, I mean, technology is changing the workplace like crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe digital transformation?
Okay, digital transformation.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it sounds kind of buzzwordy to me.
I know what you mean.
But the report makes a good point.
What's that?
The pandemic really accelerated the whole digital transformation thing.
It really did.
It forced everyone to work online basically overnight.
Practically overnight. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
And it's not just about buying new software, right?
Right.
It's about equipping people to thrive in this digital world.
Totally.
Like, digital literacy, data analytics, cybersecurity training.
You know, sometimes I feel a little overwhelmed by all the new tools
Oh, yeah.
and platforms and stuff.
I get that.
I bet a lot of people feel that way.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And that's where L&D comes in.
Okay.
This report really emphasizes how important it is to help employees see the benefits of all these digital tools.
Right.
If they just see it as another chore,
Uh-huh.
they're not going to use them.
Right. So it's about showing how these digital tools actually bring value to employees.
Exactly. It's got to be about showing the value.
So how do companies actually do that?
Well, think about any time you've been asked to use some new technology at work.
Okay.
Did you jump right on board?
Sometimes.
Or were you hesitant?
Oh, I've definitely been hesitant in the past.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I'm already juggling so much.
I know the feeling.
And learning a new system is just one more thing.
One more thing on your plate.
Exactly.
But what if that new system could save you time?
Okay.
Make your work easier or help you work better with your team.
But yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's all about the framing.
Yeah, less like another task, more like something that'll actually help me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where those L&D professionals come in.
Right.
They can help bridge that gap between the tech and the people using it.
Makes sense.
It's about training that's engaging and relevant and focused on the benefits.
Okay, so you've talked about the why of digital transformation.
Yep.
But what skills should people like you and me be focusing on to thrive in this digital world?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
It really depends on your role, your industry.
Sure.
But some of the core skills highlighted in this report: data literacy, digital communication, problem solving.
Using technology.
Using technology, exactly.
And that actually brings us to our next topic, reskilling.
Reskilling.
Which feels super relevant right now.
Extremely relevant.
With a little economic uncertainty and job changes and everything.
Absolutely.
What's interesting to me in this report is how L&D is really positioned as a critical driver of reskilling.
Yeah.
It's not just about reacting to these changes in the job market.
Right.
It's about being proactive.
Proactive.
Identifying those in-demand skills and helping people get them.
I like how you put that, being proactive.
Yeah, so it's like L&D is taking on this more strategic role.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, anticipating future needs.
Anticipating needs.
Preparing the workforce for what's coming next.
It is a big shift from that traditional view of L&D. Just delivering those training courses. This is about creating a culture of continuous learning.
Continuous learning.
Where people are constantly upskilling, adapting to stay ahead of the curve.
Sounds ambitious.
It is.
But I see the value in it.
Oh, yeah.
For individuals and organizations.
Absolutely.
So how does this actually work? How does L&D actually support reskilling?
The report highlights a bunch of approaches.
Okay.
Mentorships, coaching, online learning, even micro-learning. Micro-learning, those bite-sized learning nuggets.
Right.
It's about finding the right mix,
Yeah.
for your workforce.
And it's not just about hard skills either, is it?
Nope.
The report mentions soft skills
Yeah.
like communication and teamwork.
Super important.
Those are always valuable,
Always valuable no matter what you do.
especially with all this remote and hybrid work.
Especially now, yeah.
You got to be able to communicate, collaborate.
Gotta build those relationships, even when you're not in the same room.
I've noticed that in my own work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, being able to communicate clearly, build relationships virtually.
It's essential. It's
Yeah,
like the foundation.
for everything else.
Absolutely. And the good news is
What?
you can develop those skills.
You can.
This report highlights some really cost-effective ways to do it, too.
Like what?
Peer learning groups,
Okay.
cross-departmental learning, even job shadowing.
Interesting.
It's about using the talent and expertise you already have
Makes sense.
right there in your organization.
Much better than always looking externally.
Absolutely. Win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Employees learn new skills,
Right.
and the organization gets a more engaged and skilled workforce.
And it doesn't have to be expensive.
Nope.
Okay, so we've talked about digital transformation,
Yes.
reskilling.
Ah.
That brings us to leadership development.
Leadership development.
Why is this such a big focus for L&D right now?
Well, because the way we lead is changing.
Okay.
Think about it. Hybrid work.
Yeah.
We need leaders who can excel in that environment.
It's not just about managing people in the same office anymore.
Not anymore.
It's about building trust, connecting with people
Motivating teams that are all over the place.
geographically.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sensing a theme here.
Oh, yeah.
Adaptability.
Adaptability.
It seems like a key thread through all these trends we've been talking about.
It really is. Adaptability is key for successful leaders.
And it's not just about adapting to new tech or processes. It's about being flexible, open to new ideas.
Being able to navigate all the uncertainty and change.
Sounds like a challenge.
It is a challenge.
So how can L&D help develop these adaptable leaders?
Well, the report mentions coaching and mentoring,
Yep.
leadership development programs,
Uh-huh.
even simulations and role-playing.
Interesting. Like practice those skills in a safe space.
Exactly. Experiment without the pressure of real-world consequences.
That's got to be valuable.
Super valuable.
Mhm.
It's not just about developing individual skills, though.
Sure.
It's about fostering that leadership culture that values collaboration, innovation, continuous improvement.
It's like a whole new way of thinking about leadership.
It is. Less about command and control
More about empowering people.
and inspiring them.
Inspiring them. I like that.
And that's where L&D is crucial,
Yeah.
helping organizations develop leaders who can thrive in this new world.
Creating a future where everyone can reach their full potential.
Exactly. But maybe we should take a closer look at some of the specifics.
You're right. We've covered a lot.
We have.
How about we dive into those practical applications
Sounds good to me.
after a quick break?
Right.
All right. So before the break, we were talking about how leadership is changing
It is.
and how L&D can help develop those leaders
Right. Those adaptable leaders.
for this new world of work.
Exactly.
But you mentioned some really interesting approaches.
I did.
What were some of the things that this report highlighted?
One thing that really stood out to me was this idea of learning ecosystems.
Learning ecosystems.
Yeah. Have you heard much about those?
I've heard the term,
Okay.
but I'm not sure I totally get it.
Yeah, it could be kind of a fuzzy concept.
Yeah.
So think of it this way.
Okay.
You know, your typical corporate training program,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a one-off event, right?
Yeah. You sit through it.
You sit through it, you get your
Nice.
certificate,
Exactly.
and then you forget about it.
A learning ecosystem is different.
Okay, how
It's not just a one-time thing.
Okay.
It's woven into your everyday work life.
Interesting.
So instead of just those mandatory modules,
Uh-huh.
you've got this whole network of resources and tools and opportunities for learning.
All the time.
All the time, yeah.
So it's about creating a culture where learning is just happening all the time.
Exactly. It's organic, it's ongoing.
I like that, but how do you actually create that kind of culture?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the report suggests that it starts with a shift in mindset.
A shift in mindset.
Yeah, moving away from that idea that learning is something you do once a year.
To check a box.
Exactly. To check a box.
And instead, embracing this idea that it's a journey.
A continuous journey.
A continuous journey. I like that.
It's about tapping into that natural curiosity we all have.
That desire to learn and grow.
Exactly.
But are there any companies that are doing this well?
Actually, there are.
Okay.
The report mentions a company called Hays.
Hays?
They're a global recruitment firm.
Okay.
And they've really embraced this learning ecosystem idea.
That's cool. What are they doing that's so special?
Well, they've got a lot of different initiatives in place.
Like what?
They've got these online learning platforms with tons of courses. They've got mentoring programs.
So you can connect with more experienced people.
Exactly. And they even have this digital learning hub.
What's that?
It's like a central place where employees can access all kinds of content.
Like what kind of content?
Articles, videos, podcasts, webinars, you name it.
Wow. So it's like a buffet of learning options.
Exactly. It's all about giving employees the freedom to choose.
How they want to learn. How they want to learn. When they want to learn.
When they want to learn.
It's about owning that learning journey.
And it's working for them.
Oh, yeah. They've seen some amazing results.
Like what?
Improved employee engagement, retention, even better business performance.
That's incredible.
It really shows the value of creating that kind of learning culture.
But I bet it takes a lot of effort to set up a system like that.
It does require commitment from leadership.
Yeah.
And a willingness to invest
in resources.
In resources, yeah.
But I guess the Hays example shows it's worth it.
I think so. And remember, you don't have to do it all at once.
Okay, that's good to hear.
You can start small, experiment.
And gradually build out that ecosystem.
Over time, exactly.
Speaking of experimentation,
Yeah.
This report also talks about staying ahead of the curve with new technologies.
Yes, that's so important.
It seems like things are changing so fast in L&D.
They really are. It's an exciting time to be in this field.
It is. And one of the most talked about technologies right now is AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
It's already starting to have a huge impact on how we learn.
I have to admit, I feel a bit behind on the whole AI thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a big deal.
It is.
But I don't really know how it applies to L&D.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
It's a rapidly evolving field.
It is.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
We don't have to wait for some super advanced AI-powered platform to start benefiting from AI.
Really?
There are tons of AI tools out there right now that can help L&D professionals.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, well, one area where AI is already making a big difference is in personalization.
Personalization.
Yeah, imagine a system that can analyze an employee's skills,
Okay.
their interests, their career goals, and then recommend personalized learning paths.
Wow, that would be amazing.
It would be like having your own personal learning concierge.
A learning concierge. I like that.
And this isn't some far-off future thing.
It's happening now.
It's happening right now.
Wow.
There are platforms that are using AI to do this.
That's incredible.
AI can also automate those boring administrative tasks.
Like scheduling training sessions.
Scheduling, tracking progress, all that stuff.
That would free up so much time for L&D professionals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More time to focus on the strategic stuff.
The important stuff.
The important stuff. And don't forget about AI's potential for feedback.
Feedback?
Yeah. Imagine getting real-time personalized feedback on your performance.
Like during a simulation or something.
Exactly. It's like having a virtual coach right there with you.
That would be so helpful.
And as AI gets even more advanced, we can expect even more innovative applications in L&D.
It's really exciting to think about.
It is. But we have to remember that technology is just a tool.
Right.
The real magic happens when we combine technology with the human element of learning.
I love that. It's easy to get caught up in the bells and whistles.
It is.
But we can't forget that learning is about human connection.
It's about growth. It's about transformation.
Absolutely. And speaking of human connection,
Yes.
what about VR and AR?
Virtual reality and augmented reality.
Yeah. Now, those sound really futuristic.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, I've tried a few VR games,
Okay.
but I haven't really explored the educational side of things.
Well, imagine being able to step into a virtual environment
Okay.
and practice real-world skills.
Like what?
Well, a surgeon could practice a complex procedure in VR.
Before doing it on a real patient?
Exactly. It takes simulations to a whole new level.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
And VR can be used for soft skills training, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could practice giving presentations,
Okay.
handling difficult conversations,
Hmm.
even navigating those tricky workplace situations.
I like that. It's like a virtual rehearsal space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can experiment without the fear of messing up in the real world.
And what about AR?
Augmented reality has huge potential, too.
Okay, how so?
Well, imagine being able to access information.
Uh-huh.
That's overlaid on top of the real world.
Okay.
So like a technician could use AR glasses to see step-by-step instructions for repairing a piece of equipment.
That would be so helpful.
It would be like having a virtual assistant right there with you.
Guiding you through the process.
Exactly.
But I bet that technology is still pretty expensive.
It can be, but the cost of VR and AR is coming down.
That's good to hear.
And as it becomes more accessible,
Yeah.
we're going to see even more innovative uses in L&D.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
It feels like we're on the verge of this huge shift in how we learn.
We are. It's an exciting time.
It is exciting.
But remember, at the heart of it all,
yeah.
it's about empowering people.
Giving them the knowledge and skills they need.
Exactly. And that's something we can all get behind.
No matter what new technologies come along.
Exactly. So I think it's important to remember those fundamentals of good learning design.
Engagement, relevance, focusing on the learner.
Exactly. Those things are always going to be important.
And speaking of engagement,
Yes.
this report highlights another trend that could really shake things up. Gamification.
Gamification. I love
Yeah.
it.
It's about making learning more fun, more interactive.
Exactly. Using things like points and badges and leaderboards,
And it can be really effective.
especially for those younger learners
Millennials and Gen Z.
who grew up playing video games.
Right. It's about speaking their language.
Exactly. Meeting them where they are.
Yeah, using familiar concepts.
And gamification isn't just about fun.
Okay.
It can also reinforce learning,
Uh-huh.
track progress, provide feedback.
I've even seen companies using it for onboarding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to make that whole process more engaging.
It's all about making learning sticky
Skis.
so that it sticks with people,
I like that.
long after the training is over.
And that's what L&D is all about, right?
It is. It's about creating lasting impact.
Helping people reach their full potential.
Exactly. That's the goal.
This has been an amazing deep dive.
It has.
I feel like I've learned so much
Me too.
of the future of L&D.
It's a bright future.
It is. But with all this talk about the future,
Yeah?
maybe we should bring it back to the present.
Okay.
What does all this mean for us right now?
That's a great question.
Yeah, like what can we do today to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, with all this talk about AI and VR and all these futuristic tools,
Yeah.
it's easy to forget what really matters.
What's that?
The human element.
The human element.
Yeah, at the end of the day, learning is about people.
Okay.
It's about connecting, sharing knowledge, inspiring growth.
It's about those moments when something clicks.
Exactly. Those
Yeah.
aha moments
Yeah,
that make you want to learn more.
I like that. It's easy to get caught up in all the tech and trends.
It really is.
But we can't forget that it's all about people.
Exactly. It's about creating environments where people feel supported,
Empowered.
empowered to learn and grow.
So if you had to give one piece of advice to L&D professionals,
Oh.
or really anyone who's passionate about learning,
Uh-huh.
what would it be?
Stay curious.
Stay curious.
Stay connected.
Stay connected.
And stay focused on the needs of your learners.
I love that. Stay curious, stay connected, stay focused on the needs of your learners.
It's simple, but it's powerful.
It really is. And it reminds me of that key message from the report.
Oh, yeah.
The future of work belongs to those who are adaptable, curious.
And always willing to learn.
Exactly. It's a call to action for all of us.
It is.
No matter what we do.
We got to embrace lifelong learning.
It's the key to success.
It really is. And it's
Yeah.
not just about keeping up with the latest trends.
Right.
It's about that mindset of continuous growth.
Being open to new ideas, new ways of thinking, new ways of working.
And who knows what we'll discover along the way.
It's exciting to think about.
It really is. The future of L&D is full of possibilities.
This deep dive has been amazing.
I'm glad you think so.
I feel like I have a much better understanding of the L&D world now.
Awesome. And remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. What are you excited about in the world of L&D?
Share your ideas with us on social media.
We love connecting with fellow learning enthusiasts.
Absolutely. And until next time,
Keep learning.
keep exploring, keep experimenting.
That's a wrap on the deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.